This is actually some prose in Spanish, written by Luis Rosales. De noche iremos, de noche, sin luna iremos, sin luna. Que para encontrar la fuente, solo la sed nos alumbra. We go through the night with no moonlight. Only our thirst will guide us to the fountain of life.
So I'm going to read a piece by a poet named Don West, who lived in the Southeast during the early 20th century. The poem is called Listen, I Am an Agitator. Just a little background about an agitator. Agitator is kind of a term that's come to mean different things at different eras. During time of slavery, it was meant to be the abolitionists. It later became the anti-segregationists, then the unionists, and so I think it's something that, if that's any indication, it's something that is always relevant, no matter what time we're in. So here goes. Listen, I am an agitator. They call me red, the color of blood, and Bolshevik. But do you, the toiling South, know me? Do you believe these things about me? You croppers, factory hands, Negroes, poor whites, and you youth who look into a dark future. You who love the South as I do you understand? Do you see that I am you? That I, the agitator, am you? I am Don West too, the poet, a lover of peace and quiet places, a working man with rough hands that know how to work when there is work. But the poet is a cry for justice, the agitator.
Hi. Thank you. I'm reading a poem of William Butler Yeats, who's one of my favorites. It was written around 1920, just past World War I. And he is writing in part about the Bolshevik revolution, his feeling that civilization was decaying before his eyes, and his worries for the future. It's called The Second Coming. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming. Hardly are those words out when a vast vision out of Spiritus Mundi enables my sight. Somewhere in the sands of the desert, a shape with lion body and the head of man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun is moving its slow thighs, while all around it reel shadows of indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again, but now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born?
This is a poem called Sometimes by Sheena Pugh. Sometimes things don't go, after all, from bad to worse. Some years muscadel faces down frost. Green thrives. The crops don't fail. Sometimes a man aims high and all goes well. People sometimes will step back from war, elect an honest man, decide they care enough that they can't leave some stranger poor. Some men become what they were born for. Sometimes our best efforts do not go amiss. Sometimes we do as we mean to. The sun will sometimes melt a field of sorrow that seemed hard frozen. May it happen for you.
I'm reading a poem by Adrian Rich, called What Kind of Times Are These? That was actually published in 1995. And just a little overview about it. Somebody was saying that this is a parable-like poem that raises difficult questions about the nature and dangers of leadership and the complicity of ordinary citizens in their government's uses and abuses of power. There's a place between two stands of trees where the grass grows uphill, and the old revolutionary road breaks off into shadows near a meeting house abandoned by the persecuted who disappeared into those shadows. I've walked there picking mushrooms at the edge of dread, but don't be fooled, this isn't a Russian poem. This is not somewhere else, but here, our country moving closer to its own truth and dread, its own ways of making people disappear. I won't tell you where the place is, the dark mesh of the woods, meeting the unmarked strip of light, ghost-ridden crossroads, leaf-mold paradise. I know already who wants to buy it, sell it, make it disappear. And I won't tell you where it is, so why do I tell you anything? Because you still listen, because in times like these, to have you listen at all, it's necessary to talk about trees.
This poem is by Audre Lorde from collection of poems by Audre Lorde, who said it was simple. There are so many roots to the tree of anger that sometimes the branches shatter before they bear. Sitting in meetings, the women rally before they march, discussing the problematic girls they hire to make them free. An almost white counterman passes a waiting brother to serve them first, and ladies neither notice nor reject the slighter pleasures of their slavery. But I am bound by my mirror as well as my bed. See causes in color as well as sex, and sit here wondering which me will survive all these liberations.
This is called Poem by Poem. The author is Juan Felipe Herrera, a second-generation Latinx immigrant, and he dedicates it in memory of Cynthia Hurd, Susie Jackson, Ethel Lance, Reverend DePayne Middleton Doctor, Honorary Reverend Clementa Pinckney, Tawanza Sanders, Reverend Daniel Simmons Sr., Reverend Sharonda Singleton, and Myra Thompson, shot and killed while at church in Charleston, South Carolina on June 18th, 2015. Poem by poem, we can end the violence every day after every other day. 9 killed in Charleston, South Carolina. They are not 9, they are each one alive. We do not know. You have a poem to offer. It is made of action. You must search for it, run outside, and give your life to it. When you find it, walk it back, blow upon it, carry it taller than the city where you live. When the blood comes down, do not ask if it is your blood. It is made of 9 drops. Wash them, honor them, stop them from falling.
This is lyrics from a song by one of my favorite band, Sentenced. Really resonates with the strings of my heart, what I go through in life. Here it is. It's called Brief is the Light. The bells again, someone has died. The bells of the end toll to remind that life's but a race against time. At your back you'll always hear the chariot of time hurrying near. The faster you run, the closer it comes, a pursuer you cannot outrun. Hear these words I say, make the most out of your day. for brief is the light on our way on this momentary trail. Hear these words, awake, make the most out of our day, for brief is the time, so brief is the time that we are allowed to stay. The bells again, whose turn this time? To reach the end, yours or mine? Each funeral just makes us realize that life's but a series of goodbyes. Life passes by, melts away like snow in the spring. We all are blind to the running of time.
So, I love poetry, but I'm not much of a protest poet myself. And when I was trying to think of protest poems, I was like, I'm sure a lot of people are going to come up with much better ones than me. So I was trying to zero in on what I feel really strongly about, and I feel really strongly about the environment. I also feel really strongly about Indigenous rights. And the first thing that came to mind after thinking of that was This We Know by Chief Seattle. So if you don't know who Chief Seattle is, the American city of Seattle is named after him. He is especially known for his speech, sometimes referred to as the letter delivered in 1854. This speech was a response to the American government's land treaty to buy the native lands proposed by Isaac Stevens, the governor of Washington Territory. And this was Chief Seattle's response. This we know, the earth does not belong to us, we belong to the earth. This we know, all things are connected, like the blood which unites one family. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth, befalls the sons and daughters of the earth. We do not weave the web of life, we are merely a strand of it. And whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves.
This is not a poem, but it's one of those kinds of poems where they read them in letters, one by one. This is by Karen Wood, a Native American. She writes this way. The first question is always phrased this way. So, how much Indian are you? We did not live in teepees. We did not braid our hair. We did not fringe our shirts. We did not wear war bonnets. We did not chase the buffalo. We did not carry shields. We were never Plains Indians. We tried to ride, but we kept falling off of our dogs. A local official came to our office to ask our help for the city event. He had a splendid idea, he said, to kick off the event and show everyone in town that our tribe was still around. We should go up to the bluff overlooking the city and make a big smoke signal. Then they would know we were here. Who ever heard of smoke signals in the forest? I imagined us upon the bluff lighting one of those firebreaker bricks. We haven't made the fire since the Boy Scouts took over. And how would the citizens know it was us? They'd probably call the fire department. Number 4. As they ask, they think, yes, I can see it in her face. High cheekbones, whatever those are, and dark hair. Here's a thought. Don't we all have high cheekbones? If we didn't, our faces would cave in. But I do have a colonized nose. I'm sick of explaining myself. You know, I finally say, it doesn't matter to my people. I ride off to my ranch-style home. Time to weave a basket or something.
I'm also going to read something about the environment, in particular development. This is called Violets by Mary Oliver. Down by the rumbling creek and the tall trees, where I went truant from school 3 days a week and therefore broke the record, there were violets, as easy in their lives as anything you have ever seen or leaned down to intake the sweet breath of. Later, when the necessary houses were built, they were gone. And who would give significance to their absence? O violets, you did signify, and what shall take your place?
I may have read this before. I forget. Where is it? I forget. The poem is Forgetfulness. Billy Collins. The name of the author is the first to go, followed immediately by the title, the plot, the heartbreaking conclusion, the entire novel, which suddenly becomes one you have never read or even heard of. As if, one by one, the memories you used to harbor decided to retire to the southern hemisphere of the brain, to a little fishing village where there are no phones. Long ago, you kissed the names of the 9 muses goodbye and watched the quadratic equation pack its bag. And even now, as you memorize the order of the planets, something else is slipping away. A state flower, perhaps, the address of an uncle, the capital of Paraguay. Whatever it is you are struggling to remember, it is not poised on the tip of your tongue, nor even lurking in some obscure corner of the spleen that has floated away down a dark, mythological river whose name begins with an L, as far as you can recall. Well on your way to oblivion, where you will join those who have even forgotten how to swim and how to ride a bicycle. No wonder you rise in the middle of the night to look up the date of a famous battle in a book of war. No wonder the moon in the window seems to have drifted out of a love poem that you used to know by heart.
This is one of my favorite poems by Langston Hughes, African-American playwright and activist. Let America be America again. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me. Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great, strong land of love, where never kings connive or tyrants scheme. Let any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor, white, fooled, and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery's scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek, and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the waves of satisfying need, of work the man or take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker sold to the machine. I am the Negro, servant to you all. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean. Hungry yet today despite the dream. Beaten yet today, oh pioneers. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years. Yet, I'm the one who dreamed our basic dream in the old world while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every brick and stone, in every furrow turned. That's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who salted these early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore, and Poland's plain, and England's grassy lay, and torn from black Africa's strand I came to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me, the millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay, for all the dreams we've dreamed, and all the songs we've sung, and all the hopes we've held, and all the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay, except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, and yet must be, the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes. Who made America? Whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. Free from those who live like leeches on the people's lives, who must take back our land again. America. Oh yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath. America will be.
This morning, as I sat on my patio enjoying the lovely morning air and the safety and sanctuary of my backyard, I read the latest story about the ICE raid in Mississippi this past week, and about young children just abandoned as their parents were stolen away while they were at school. Our government just didn't bother to even consider the needs of these small children who would be left behind. And so there was even a story about a 4-month-old nursing child who was taken away from her mother. And I just don't know what's happening. But this poem really speaks to me. This is by Maria Melendez-Kelson from 2014. It's called ICE Agents Storm My Porch. The indiscriminate citizenry of Earth are out to arrest my sense of being a misfit. Open up, they bellow. Hands quiet before my door. That's only wind and juniper needles anyway. You can't do it, I squeak from inside. You can't make me feel at home here in this time of siege for me and mine. Miraza. Legalized suspicion of my legitimacy is now a permanent resident in my gut. Fruit of the prickly pear, they swear, striding up to my table to juice me a glass of pink nectar. They've brought welcome baskets stuffed with proof I'm earthling. From under a gingham cover, I tug a dark feather, iridescent green, cohering to magpie thought, to memory's chatter, to mind, mine. And here they have my mind translated into a slate-surfaced pond, which vibrates in the shape of a cottonwood's autumn molt, which trees me to dirt, which soils me, heat and freeze. But you'll always be one definitive document short, I complain. Doubts can forever outstrip your geologic. For which they produce a lock of my natal dust, bronze to the fluttering fiber of lace bark pine. Where'd they get that stuff? The baskets are bottomless, and it's useless for me to insist on being distinct. Undergoing reportation, I'm awakened to a center, where walls between all beings are dreamt to dissolve.
I keep hearing about these horrific mass shootings where high schools are getting shot up, movie theaters, concerts, long-term care facilities, and each and every time my heart breaks more and more and more. This poem that I'm going to read is called 17 Funerals, and it's by Richard Blanco from his book How to Love a Country. 17 suns rising in 17 bedroom windows. 34 eyes blooming open with the light of one warm morning. 17 reflections in the bathroom mirror. 17 backpacks or briefcases stuffed with textbooks or lesson plans. 17 good mornings at kitchen breakfast and 17 goodbyes at front doors. 17 drives through palm-lined streets and miles of crammed highways to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School at 5901 Pine Island Road. The first bell ringing in one last school day on February 14th, 2018. 17 echoes of footsteps down hallways for 5 class periods. Algebra, poetry, biology, art, history. 17 hands writing on whiteboards or taking notes at their desks until the first gunshot at 2:21 p.m. One AR-15 rifle in the hands of a 19-year-old mind turning hate for himself into hate for others, into 150 bullets fired in 6 minutes through building number 12. 17 dead carried down hallways they walked, past cases of trophies they won, flyers for clubs they belonged to, lockers they won't open again. 17 Valentine's Day dates broken and cards unopened. 17 bodies to identify, dozens of photo albums to page through and remember their lives. 17 caskets and burial garments to choose for them. 17 funerals to attend in 12 days. 17 graves dug and headstones placed, all marked with the same date of death. 17 names: Alyssa, Helena, Scott, Martin. 17 absentees forever: Nicholas, Aaron, Jamie, Luke. 17 closets to clear out: Christopher, Cara, Gina, Joaquin. 17 empty beds: Elena, Meadow, Alex, Carmen, Peter. 17 reasons to rebel with the hope that that these will be the last 17 to be taken by one of 393 million guns in America.
This is Caged Bird by Maya Angelou. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still. And his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn bright lawn. And he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow
shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. And the caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still. And his tune is heard on a distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom.